Good day and welcome to Engineers Without Borders Diliman's presentation regarding income-generating urban gardening technologies for March 2019 to May 2020. Engineers Without Borders Diliman, or EWB-UPD, is a premier student organization established to support community development programs and partnerships that design and implement sustainable engineering projects, while creating transformative experiences in engineering application, project management, and leadership development. Since its establishment in 2014, the organization aims to promote the interdisciplinary approach of solving problems by providing sustainable solutions as manifested in its diverse member base coming from different programs inside and outside the College of Engineering, University of the Philippines Diliman. Inspired by EWB-International, EWB-UPD aims to expand its shared vision of collaborating to come up with innovations for its adopted communities. I am Angeligo, the Chief Public Relations Officer of EWB-UPD, and together with me are Jericho Mascara, the current project head of Ahon Floating Garden Project, and Carmina Tinitigan, the Chief Executive Officer of EWB-UPD, who is the representative from Aquaponics Project for this presentation. And I'm going to act as your moderator for today. Just to give you a brief run-through of today's discussion, my colleagues here are going to share the background, the current state, and the future action of the projects that our organization are currently working on. EWB-UPD's project's theme for this year is Income-Generating Urban Gardening Technologies, which relates to different communities within Metro Manila that can provide opportunities for livelihood and produce. Floating garden and aquaponics are examples of urban agriculture which proposes an encouraging way to reduce poverty and food scarcity while being environment friendly. As mentioned earlier, Jericho will provide us further details regarding Ahon Floating Garden Project of Coloong, Valenzuela City, to be followed by Carmina, who will discuss the Aquaponics Project of Pook Libis, Quezon City.
Thank you, Angeli, for the introductions. Once again, I am Jericho Just Muscara, the representative from Ahon, the Floating Garden Project. Ahon, the Floating Garden Project for the community in Coloong 1, Valenzuela City, aims to address concerns over a waterlogged environment that often gets flooded whenever strong rains and storms outpour with water. As such, rafts and boats are a common sight in the area and are also used for agricultural purposes, in a place where harvesting can be seen as a questionable endeavor given the lack of accessible fertile land. As we learned from conducting focus group discussions with selected residents of Coloong 1 last November 11, 2018, these rafts, made out of bamboo and styrofoam bases, have long been fixtures in the community since 2005. However, the NGO that gave these to them was not able to provide the community with information on how to build and maintain the rafts. Unfortunately, no contact details of the NGO are available. There has also been a need for improvement with regards to the durability of the raft itself. The community is not new with this farming technique and has expressed gratefulness for the benefits the floating garden had caused them. This includes being able to provide food for their own consumption and the best case scenario being able to sell their harvest. With this in mind, EWB-UP Diliman envisions to upscale these benefits by providing a more durable and sustainable floating garden design that will yield more harvest and promises long-term use. The team decided to redesign the pre-existing floating garden of the barangay. The floating garden design of the community consists of layers of thin styrofoam tied together to form the base of the raft. This design is problematic since along with its bamboo platform, it does not float effectively, especially when an individual stands on it. Due to the rotting of the bamboo platform and the styrofoam base not holding together from water exposure, the rafts are mostly submerged and covered with water hyacinths. The proposed floating garden design of the team will consist of a base of PET bottles framed by bamboo. As shown in the raft design, the soil will be placed in an HDPE drum surrounded by the PET bottles to further ensure buoyancy. The team incorporated durable materials that sustain the floating garden for a longer time. In order to ensure the feasibility of the design, consultations with our faculty advisor were also done. Currently, workshops on urban agriculture and knot tying are being conducted to equip the project team members with the needed skills for the prototype design. As displayed on the screen, these are the future actions of the project. It is split into 4 phases, the durations of which will vary depending on the situation of the project. As shown, the proposed floating garden should also be easy to replicate and maintained by the residents. Once a prototype is successfully done, the team will move towards sharing the design to the residents and slowly implement the design into the community. That is all.
Good day, I am Carmina Tinitigan, representing the Aquaponics Project for this presentation. Before going to the project itself, I would like to explain the term aquaponics first for those who are not familiar with it. And so, aquaponics is a closed system loop which allows the natural dynamics of fish and plants for the survival of both species. The term is a portmanteau for aquaculture and hydroponics. The former refers to the growing of aquatic animals like fish, and the latter is growing plants without the use of soil. The two processes are integrated in this innovative agricultural technique wherein plants use the animals' waste as food, which then cleans the water used by animals. This symbiotic relationship is aided by microbes since they are the ones primarily responsible for turning the waste into useful substances for the plants. While aquaponics systems can be overly complicated and may require expensive startup costs, they provide a sustainable and intensive food production system with reduced water use and higher yields. For the following community, a series of projects was suggested before the Aquaponics project had been chosen. However, as the need for reliable livelihood made its way on top of the concerns of the community in Pook Libis, Quezon City that need to be addressed, the idea of an aquaponics system was then acknowledged by their senior citizen organization. Ocular for the project site was done with the help of the president of the senior citizen organization back in September 1, 2018. The site chosen was the backyard of one of the members of the organization. They had also promised to take a look at the garden from time to time once the project is deployed on their site. Currently, a setup has already been secured in the Institute of Civil Engineering vicinity, with some preparation done, and materials already secured since the last semester of academic year 2018 to 2019. An existing aquaponics model employed by one of our members in the farm was given to us, as shown in the picture. This prototype will be tested for effectiveness and sustainability, such as whether the plants will grow using the alternative watering and nutrient provision of the system, or whether enough nutrients can be generated from the amount of fish and biofilter material. To provide further explanation, the water from the fish tank will be treated and pumped to aid in plant growth. To treat the water, it has to pass through two filters, one being a solid waste filter and the other being a biofilter which will convert ammonia to nitrate, a component essential for plant survival. The circulation of water between the plants and fishes would be aided by a water pump and pipes. Before the water returns to the fish container, it would be treated to check pH levels, temperature, water hardness, and dissolved oxygen. The loss of water due to the consumption of plants would be compensated by adding water monthly or every 2 months. The appropriate parameters and working conditions will thus be determined. After successful testing, the system will be brought to the community where the senior citizens will be educated on the proper maintenance and handling of the system and possibly on how to build the system on their own. Currently, as mentioned in the Ahon Floating Garden Project, we are conducting urban gardening workshops to equip our members in conducting design revisions. As listed on the screen, the future action to be taken by the Aquaponics Project are outlined. In conclusion, EWB-UPD envisions a self-sustaining aquaponics system that can be an additional source of income for senior citizens without requiring too much labor from them. While primarily intended as a source of livelihood, the system may also be a form of recreation for the senior citizens of Libis, helping them spend their time productively and at the same time educating them on the sustainable form of urban agriculture.
Thank you for our speakers. To give you a summary of the projects that were discussed, displayed on the screen are the important details of each: the proposed budget, period of implementation, project's prospective client, and place of implementation. For further questions and clarifications, do not hesitate to approach us through the contact details as displayed on the screen. Thank you for listening. Together, let's build a better world, one community at a time.